So I'd like you all to stop and think again for a moment. And I'd like to know, what is the top issue in the news these days that concerns you the most? The top issue in the news that concerns you the most. I'm looking for a policy issue. Okay. Like a word or a phrase. Everybody have one? All right. William, why don't you start?
Climate.
Okay. Joel?
Humanitarian aid slash crises.
Okay. Jake?
Ukraine.
Samuel?
um, the election, the presidency, presidential power, constitution. I don't know which word you choose for that.
So you're looking like future of democracy type of stuff? Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, democracy.
Andrew?
The war in Palestine.
Okay. John?
Rising cost of living.
And Noah?
Human rights.
Okay. Separate question for each of you. And again, I'll call on you one at a time. What is the greatest threat to your long-term future? I'm talking 20, 30 years from now, when you guys are in your 40s or 50s. Anybody have one? The greatest threat to your long-term future. John, you want to go first?
Yeah. So I'd say like greatest threat for long-term future would probably have to be climate change and climate policy.
Okay. Noah?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Climate.
Andrew?
I also agree with climate.
Samuel?
Agree. Climate.
Jake?
Microplastics.
Okay. William?
I'll say climate as well. I could even be more specific and say like resources.
Okay. And Joel?
Water scarcity.
Okay. So I'd like you all to stop and think for a moment, and I'll call on you again one at a time. I'd like to know, what's the top issue in the news these days that concerns you the most? Everybody have one? Top issue in the news that concerns you the most? Everybody got one? Okay. Derek, why don't you go first?
I'd say the economy.
All right. Eric?
I'd say the economy too.
All right. Ebram?
It's inflation, cost of living, same thing.
Drake?
Also on the same base, the economy and the job market.
Brett?
Yep. The economy and cost of living.
Brandon?
I'd say the vibe in the international community and global conflict.
Okay. James?
I would say inflation.
Inflation, okay. And Sam?
Job market opportunities.
All right, got it. Separate question for all 8 of you. I'll call on you again one at a time. What is the greatest threat to your long-term future? And I'm talking 20, 30 years from now. What do you see as the greatest threat to your long-term future when you guys are in your 40s or 50s? Stop and think about it for a second. Everybody have one? Okay. Let's see. James, you want to go first?
Not really. Probably the economy, I guess.
The economy, okay.
Yeah.
Eric?
I would also say like the economy with like the stock market and just knowing if we're still gonna have Social Security when we're at the age to retire.
Okay. Sam?
I was gonna say AI. We just don't know how it's gonna affect just our workforce and what the actual pros and cons are for 30, 40 years from now.
Drake?
I'd probably say like the political divide of the United States or just of the population.
Okay. Derek?
Yeah, I would just say that, like Drake mentioned, just the political divide and how it just continues to grow.
Brandon?
I'd say purchasing power and the value of the US dollar.
All right. Brett?
Yeah, it's a toss up for me, but I think the social fabric of our country right now is at a really crucial teetering point, and it's nerve-wracking.
All right. Ebram?
Yeah, I would say AI as well. I think AI could replace a lot of jobs right now in the future.
Okay. Thank you.